We're back for part 2 of our pawn shop shotgun makeover series. Hey guys, this is Dave with the Learning Firearms channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. We're excited to be back for part 2 of our pawn shop shotgun makeover series. And this is the beauty right here. Now, just to start, we'll kind of give you guys a little bit of update on the project, kind of what we're thinking. And truth be told, we're a little humbled and taken back by how much interest there was in the project. When we published the first video where we introduced the project and the gun, the comments and feedback were awesome. It was really exciting to see how many people were interested in seeing this series continue on. Now, we did get a couple of questions on forums or Facebook or the comments or whatever about why do a makeover? Would it be cheaper to find a new shotgun? Would it be cheaper to find a used shotgun? And the answer to those is it depends. It could be cheaper to buy a new shotgun, but probably not. However, it could be cheaper to find like a police trade-in, for example. And there are some smoking deals out there if you are at the right place at the right time and you can get a police Magnum trade-in or a police 870 trade-in. There are some really good deals and they are really good guns. So yes, if you can find one of those, great. But this was a project that we wanted to do, kind of like a This Old House for our own channel, and it just so happened that we're using this pawn shop shotgun. And one question we did receive was, did we actually buy it at a pawn shop? Yes, we actually did. Trevor bought it at a pawn shop in Brainerd and saw it on the shelf and thought, hey, this would be a really cool idea. And it's something we've talked about in the past for other things, and it just all happened to come together here. So what we're going to be talking about in this episode is a parts breakdown of what we chose to go with, as well as the cost analysis to see if this is going to be something that you want to do. Now, what's going to be coming up in the future, we're going to break it up into more episodes. One episode is going to be a complete teardown, so it'll just cover like a disassembly. Then we're going to be doing refinishing. We are going to refinish the metal components, so the barrel, the receiver, and the magazine extension, and the magazine tube. We're going to be refinishing those, so that'll be its own separate video. We're going to have a separate video on the sight installation. We did pick up a set of sights that we have to install. Then we'll have a separate video on putting some of the parts back together, so just kind of a general assembly or reassembly. And of course, we'll have to go to the range and shoot this bad boy, and Trevor will get to pull off the first rounds with it once it's done because it's his gun. So those are some of the episodes. I'm not sure exactly what order they're going to come out in, but those are the episodes, and they might even be split up further depending on time. So without further ado, let's talk about money. The shotgun and the parts, it was our goal to kind of get in that $500 price point. And we came really close, and there is a couple of options. So we kind of divided it into what we would consider need on a fighting shotgun or a defense shotgun, a patrol shotgun, whatever your world of work is. And then we kind of have the nice to have, or hey, in the future, if you can afford to make some upgrades, these are the upgrades you should make. First things first, we obviously had to invest in the shotgun, which was $155. Now this shotgun happened to be in overall pretty good shape. It does have a little bit of rust, hence the need for refinishing, and obviously the furniture has to go as well. But $155 I think is a very fair price. You can get them for a little bit less and sometimes a little bit more. Major components that we knew would be on the need to replace list. Number one is going to be the barrel. This barrel is just way too long for any type of practical defensive work or getting in and out of a patrol car, things like that. So we could have cut it, or we actually found a used barrel online. We paid $60 for this barrel. Now, the nice thing is we were able to sell the current barrel that's on here. So this 26-inch vent rib barrel, we actually already have sold for $40. So in essence, we paid $20 for this barrel. So that was a great deal, and we're going to refinish this and install the new front sight. Next is furniture. The wood furniture of this shotgun, it's great if you're hunting and things like that, but the reality is we wanted something a little more modern and a little more modular in case upgrades ever wanted to happen. So for furniture, we selected the Magpul furniture set, and we got this set from Brownells for $133. So a good deal here. Stocks are really comfortable. They give you sling attachment options if you need it, and the fore ends are comfortable, and they give you mounting options for lights and things like that. Most of the stuff we did get from Brownells just to keep it simpler. So in case you guys are wondering, it's pretty much all from Brownells. So that was some of the main stuff on our need list. We wanted to do something with the barrel and the furniture. Now, another need item, in my opinion, is the magazine extension. Now, this is from Nordic Components. They're an awesome Minnesota company, again, available from Brownells. The extension was $76, and it comes with the actual extension. We went with a +3 because we had that 20-inch barrel, so it'll line up really well with that. And it comes with a spring, and we have a high-vis follower as well. So good investment. Again, this is one of the needs, in my opinion. And the last need, and a couple of the other items on the nice to have list I know are going to be debatable, but we really wanted to have a nice set of sights. So for sights, we actually went with the Trijicon Tritium Ghost Ring sight. Now these sights are really nice. Of course, they're made in America. They're made from good quality materials from our good friends at Trijicon. We love their stuff. We've used their stuff a lot. So there's the rear sight there. Now, as far as sights go, you do have a little bit of options. Sights range from $120 all the way up to $150, depending on if you go with a tritium rear sight or not. Now, for this, since this was kind of a all-out build for Trevor, we decided to go with the tritium front and rear, which cost us about $150. However, if you were to go with just the tritium front, it's going to save you about $30. So that's kind of rounding out our needs list. So where does that take us? We have the shotgun, we have the barrel, including the credit we received for the sale of the barrel, the furniture, the magazine extension, and the sights. If you get the non-tritium rear, you're going to be right around $504, and if you get the tritium front and rear, it's going to put you at about $534. So we're just over our $500 budget. Now, some things, if you have a little bit more money, or if this is an ongoing project and you're looking for things to upgrade, some really nice things to have is a side saddle. And we chose the Mesa Tactical side saddle. This just mounts right on the side of the receiver. That was $60. And this gives you extra ammunition carrying on the gun. You have that extra ammunition right there. You can carry slugs. You could carry buck in the gun if you're carrying in a squad ready position. It just gives you some versatility. Really a nice thing to have. Another really nice item to have on a fighting shotgun is an oversized safety. This is only 12 bucks. In my opinion, if this isn't on your need list, if you absolutely have to cut money, maybe I would cut it somewhere else, because this is a really nice thing to have. And I almost wanted to put it on the need list because it's just such a nice item to have, and it's only 12 bucks. But I had to make some sense of this, so it ended up on the really nice to have. But I would put this really high on the nice to have list. The next item on the nice to have list is going to be a sling mount. Now, I know there's a lot of debate over 2-point versus single point, and I've been through a lot of shotgun classes, including one that was, in my opinion, the most notable for me, and that was from the late Louis Auerbach. And he was honestly one of the grandfathers of the modern fighting shotgun. And he is a big proponent of the single point sling, because when you're pumping, when you're loading, when you're doing whatever, it's so nice not to have that sling get in the way. And what's nice is you can put it on with your left arm, with your right arm. Doesn't matter which one, as long as you have a head and an arm and a single point sling, it's going to work, and it's going to be very ambi friendly. So it's an incredibly simple sling system for the shotgun, and it doesn't get in the way. So that's what we chose to go with for Trevor's gun, was a single point sling mount. This was $27. Now the last two items are upgrades. Now we'll kind of get in just a moment on some of the differences between a standard express and the police version, but two of those parts are actually these two parts right here, and they're probably really tough to see on camera. This first one is a non-MIM or machined extractor. You can kind of see it there. There we go. This extractor is $18. It's a machined part versus a cast or MIM part. It's going to hold up a little bit better. This is the Remington factory version, again, 18 bucks. Vokortson also makes an aftermarket 870 extractor, which is very good as well. If you can find that, don't hesitate to buy it. It's a really good part. Another part that is in the police models that's not in the Express is this upgraded carrier spring. And this just gives the carrier a little bit more force. And we'll kind of get into how that works when we do the teardown and reassembly of the shotgun. But this is an upgrade that I would definitely look at doing. This is only a $7 part. Now, one thing we did not mention is a light. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, yes, a light should be on that need to have list. Or if it's not on the need to have, it needs to be on the nice to have. And I don't disagree with either one. The reason why we're not including the light as part of this project, there's no way we could add a light and stay within our budget. A light, a good quality shotgun light, is going to add at least a couple $100. Now, you can find some used 4Ns and upgrade them with LEDs. that's certainly some really good options as well. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna make an episode just on some shotgun light options. We're gonna see if we can get some various samples so we can show you the differences, show you the price differences, how they break down, what's good, what's not so good, what you wanna look for in a good quality light system, how they work. And then you can make a decision on which light system you would want to go with. And then Trevor can make his decision on what he wants to go with. So please know that we do think having a light on a fighting gun is very, very important. It's just for budget purposes and to get the gun actually built, we're going to move forward with the project sans light, but it will be addressed in the future. Let's get into some of the differences between an off-the-shelf or a current 870 model and a police model. Now, the police models are the flagship Remington 870 fighting gun, and arguably they're the gold standard of a patrol or a defense shotgun. Everybody loves those police guns. They're just good guns. What makes them different is a few different things. Number one, they are assembled in a different area and they have a different set of quality controls. Now, we mentioned the carrier spring on the police models when we were talking about our nice to have upgrade parts. So the police model will have the carrier spring upgrade. They will also have an upgraded sear spring. That sear spring will give them a slightly heavier trigger pull. Now, there is some debate even in the Remington armor community over whether that's actually a better thing or not. Does it actually provide more strike force or not? And is it just simply a lawyer's spring, so they say, just to add some weight? Now, it is in the police model, so if you want to replicate or duplicate a police model, of course, you can get that sear spring upgrade. It's just a few dollars. The police models also do have the metal trigger guard and the housing, whereas the newer commercial models have a polymer. Now, if you have a newer model with the polymer housing, that's still a really good housing. I wouldn't see a need to run out and replace that. This is an older model, so it still has the metal housing. Now, on the police models, you also do have some furniture upgrades, furniture and finish. So for finish, they're generally going to be Parkerized or a higher end finish than just your standard bluing. And the furniture, you can actually see here how the fore end comes back and it actually covers some of the loading port, or if we were to flip it over, it would interfere if we had a side saddle. So the police models actually have a shorter fore end to allow a side saddle to mount and make feeding just a little bit easier. Last, but certainly not least, is the extractor. Again, we talked about that before. The extractor is right here. All of the police models will have that machined extractor part versus the MIM. So those are some of the differences between a commercial 870 and a police, plus some of the parts upgrades that you can do for yourself. So all in all, I think we have a really fun project ahead of us. Again, we're really close to that $500 mark, $504 and $534, depending on your sites, for the that need to have list. And if you have extra money, I gave you some options on where you can spend extra money or make upgrades in the future with your side saddle, the safety sling mount, an extractor, and the carrier spring. And that all those parts together, if you bought all that stuff, it would be about $125. And again, we got all of this stuff from Brownells. So that concludes this episode of the Pawn Shop Shotgun Makeover. I hope you like the choices that we've made, and I hope you look forward to the series. In the next episode, we'll actually be tearing down the shotgun, getting it ready for the next parts of the process. Please stick around. We'd love to see you for the whole journey. If you have any comments or suggestions or feedback, please leave them in the comment section below. You can follow us on Facebook. You can check out our webpage. Whenever you're working with firearms, please make sure you're doing so safely. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.